Welcome to Inside Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. I'm a military veteran turned filmmaker. I found my creative spark in the military, and now I'm here to help you find yours. Inside Plug is a platform for your voice, stories to be shared, and ideas to flourish. Let's dive in and plug into creativity and entrepreneurship together. Today, we have Daniel Goldberg. He's an award-winning short film director turned storytelling colorist with ridiculously high standards. He has a screenwriting certificate from UCLA Professional Program. He has a Black Magic Design certified colorist and editor. He's worked with some companies called Boston Public Health Commission. He's also worked with companies like Mercedes, Western Star, and he worked on a Mario Van Peebles film that's on Netflix right now called Outlaw Posse. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for that intro.
Thank you. So just reading off the things that you've kind of navigated so far, can you share with us who has made the most influence in your life?
Wow. In my life or professionally, I guess.
Well, from like through all your navigations, like you started off as, a filmmaker, so a writer, director.
I guess it might be, the colorist I first worked with, Alan Gordon, when I was still a writer-director, which I still am, but had no inkling really about what color grading was. So working with him as a director and seeing his process, that was like my first exposure to color grading and seeing how it totally shifted the tone of the film that I was creating at the time, which was kind of a horror comedy. And a lot of that story was actually sort of discovered in post-production, like through the score and also through color grading, because to be quite honest, like we were riding this edge between horror and comedy, and it was always a little bit like I was in suspense myself, even as the director, is like, where exactly is the tone gonna land? And then in post-production, I felt like I had a chance to really discover that through the process of working with the sound mixer and the composer and also the colorist. And so seeing how color grading totally like changed how I was perceiving certain scenes and giving them much more of an like ominous tone, which actually I found was really working for the story. That showed me how powerful color grading was. And it was sort of my first inkling that maybe that was something I would want to get involved in, although it took several years before I ended up doing that. But yeah, I guess seeing him work, his name is Alan Gordon, post-pro gumbo, he's, continued to do really amazing things since then. So he's, I think, worked on like some big blockbusters since then. But yeah, that was kind of an inspiration for me.
Nice. Is that kind of what helped you? So I navigated your website. So I apologize, I forgot to mention that. He's the creator of the production company Horn Melon Productions. So on your website is interesting. You have this page that's why I'm different, and then also on there you have a 5-step color grading blueprint. Can you take us through like how you decided to create a blueprint and what makes you different?
Sure. So, I mean, the blueprint was really, I guess, color grading is still sort of one of the less understood fields, I think, within filmmaking, even by, veteran directors. There are some directors who really are kind of suspicious of it. They they maybe want to just shoot on film and not have it processed electronically or anything, and they kind of see it as like tainting the process or something. So I guess the goal with that was sort of to just demystify the process for people and break it down into steps and show them that they're still in control at the end of the day. They're not like handing it over to some like rogue maniac on a computer who's going to turn everything blue or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's really, yeah, it's all about just like having a conversation about the look that they want for their film, getting visual references from the director, which they probably have anyway, having worked with the cinematographer and the set designer. So just getting access to their sort of visual palette and their mindset when they were creating the film. And then me kind of giving my own input. Like there's this site called Shot Deck that everyone uses now that's just has like really high quality stills from a wide range of films and music videos and maybe even TV shows now. So I'd go in and try to find my own references that I think might work, and then we just have a conversation about where we think things are going, and then I'll sort of, based on that conversation, grade like a wide range of shots from the project. So like some nighttime exteriors, some daylight interiors, just a variety of different settings. Maybe if there's like some flashbacks in the film, I'll grade some of those to see if we want a different look for those or something. So basically just like a hodgepodge of some different things. So I don't, waste everyone's time like doing the whole film and then it's not what anyone wanted, which, is always the danger. So I'll do that and then send them like these samples with kind of an overall look applied based on the conversations we've had. And we'll go through a few rounds of revision on that. And then once we agree on the overall vision, that's when I'll finally start to do a first draft on the actual film. So it's supposed to, the way I work is like, I'm not stingy with revisions or back and forth. It's just like one package when you work with me. I want my clients, my directors to be happy with the end result. So this is just a way to like make sure that in spite of that, the process is still like streamlined. We're not like wasting time with unnecessary back and forth. Um, I don't know if that all made sense, but
No, it does. It does.
yeah.
Have you faced any obstacles in those situations, like any conflicts of interest?
Um, hmm. I mean, there are always times when, there's like, yeah, when you're working with a team and maybe you're not quite sure who the like highest stakeholder is, like who's really calling the shots? Like, is it the director? Is it the producer? And because sometimes you'll be getting feedback that feels a little contradictory. Honestly, I don't have any, like, nothing's coming to mind that's super specific, but I do know that kind of thing has happened for sure, and I think it's probably pretty common.
All right.
But yeah, part of the role is like navigating different interests and personalities and trying to find like a point
Gotcha.
of agreement, I think.
And then also like have the have you ever like decided like, okay, this is the tone, this is the feel for it, and the director had like a different perspective that maybe they thought worked better, but with your experience and
Um, at times, yeah. I mean, there's also been a lot of times where I've been set on something, and then, the director at the end of the day, my goal is to get them what they want. So I'll always, make my case, but then, do what the director I think is going to be happy with. And there have been a lot of times where I've been surprised to end up kind of in retrospect thinking like, oh yeah, that maybe that was the right move. That and there's also no one right um, there's no one right color grade necessarily for each project. So the director probably knows best, and it's really my goal to like bring sort of, yeah, like an amalgamation of like my sensibilities with what they're going after. So it still has like some of my fingerprints on it. Like I think there's no way to avoid that, and probably you wouldn't want to, but it's really mostly about what the story that they're looking to tell and how they envision it. Um, so yeah.
All right. What's advice would you give someone looking to enter, colorist or maybe just, post production, the field in general?
Um, I'd say definitely there's so many online tutorials, um, and lots of stuff on YouTube. Colin Kelly is really great. A lot of colorists follow him, and I think, is probably a really good person to start with. He has some free videos on YouTube and that I've seen that are really great, and I've learned a lot from him. Um, and there's so many others as well. But yeah, then I think probably just reaching out to filmmakers, um, trying to, yeah, trying to offer your services maybe at first for a low rate and then working your way up. And once you have enough business.
All right. So, have some more information if you want to share with the audience. So, what is your favorite movie or TV show?
Okay. Well, I think my favorite movie is probably still Mulholland Drive, which is one that really inspired me when I was like 13 or something and made me want to get into filmmaking. It's yeah, it's by David Lynch. It's very visually rich, but I don't think it actually. I think it was color timed. Um, with like a chemical process. I don't think it was even color graded by a post production colorist necessarily because it was from 2001. But yeah, that's probably still my favorite after all these years,
All
just because it was so influential for me.
right. Nice. All right. So, how can our listeners support you in your work?
Sure. Well, you can get in touch with me on my website, which is www.hornedmelonproductions.com. Um, And yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Horned Melon Pro. Um, those are probably the best ways to keep in touch and collaborate in the future if that's something that's interesting.
All right. Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that. All right. So, Netflix, Mario Van Peebles film, Outlaw Posse. How did you get a part of that project?
Yeah, that was really fun to work on. I got an email just from who was it? It wasn't from Mario. It was from um, the post-production coordinator, maybe. Um, and yeah, they were just interested in my work, liked my reel, and so we talked about possibly collaborating on this new feature, Outlaw Posse, and it luckily ended up working out. Um, and it was my first narrative feature actually, so it was really exciting for me. yeah, to be part of a narrative feature that's like also has some recognizable stars in it and pretty like a decent audience. Um, so that was really cool.
Nice. How important would you say it is to keep a portfolio updated?
I would say definitely it's important to do it at least once a year.
Uh-huh.
Um, I guess like I'll do it more than that if there's, if there's something new that I've done that I'm really excited about, I'm not going to wait till the end of the year. But otherwise, yeah, I do think it's important. Um, I mean, technology is always changing and tastes are always changing, and you're also getting better, presumably, by the month. So yeah, you don't want to be stuck showing people like a 5-year-old reel. Um, it would probably set you back, I think.
All right. All right, Daniel. So I'm a new editor. I'm looking for some affordable software. What would you recommend?
Definitely DaVinci Resolve right now. I mean, there's a free version of it, which is amazing, and the paid version is still a great deal, even. I think yeah, Adobe is sort of in some legal trouble right now, and it's really, I think, overpriced with the subscription option. But everyone has their own opinion. There's no real wrong answer, to be honest. But since you're asking me, I'm going to say DaVinci Resolve, which also has the best color grading tools by far of any of the NLEs.
All right, nice. Thanks for sharing that. All right, you guys. That was Daniel Goldberg. Go check him out. HornMelonProductions.com. All right, thanks for tuning in to Inside Plug. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it inspiring. Every journey begins with a single step, and every creator has a story worth sharing. If you love what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on InsidePlug.com. Your feedback helps us bring you more content. Until next time, keep creating. Devon Jones signing off. Stay inspired.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.